Most people misunderstand success completely. They think success begins when money appears, when recognition arrives, when life finally looks impressive from the outside. But real success starts much earlier. It begins in private, in habits nobody sees, in decisions nobody applauds, in the ability to continue moving even when there are no visible rewards yet. And this is exactly where most people quit. Because modern culture trained people to expect immediate results, immediate validation, immediate progress, immediate success. But real growth rarely works that way. At first, nothing seems to happen. The work feels invisible. The effort feels unnoticed. The discipline feels unrewarded. And that stage destroys many dreams before they ever become reality. Now think about this carefully. How many people abandon their goals simply because they don't see fast results? How many stop improving because progress feels too slow? How many lose motivation because nobody recognizes their effort in the beginning? This is one of the first laws of success. You must learn how to continue before results appear. Because every meaningful transformation happens quietly at first. Strength develops quietly. Discipline develops quietly. Knowledge develops quietly. And eventually, the visible results begin catching up with the invisible work. But most people never stay consistent long enough to reach that stage. That's why patience has become a competitive advantage. The ability to keep building without immediate rewards is now extremely rare. And rare qualities create rare outcomes. Now pay attention to something important. Success is not built through motivation alone. Motivation changes constantly. Some days you feel inspired. Some days you feel exhausted. Some days doubt becomes louder than confidence. This is why discipline matters more than emotion. Because discipline keeps moving even when feelings disappear. And people who master consistency eventually separate themselves from everyone else. Not because they are always more talented, but because they stayed committed longer. So remember this. Your current results do not always reflect your current effort. Sometimes life rewards consistency later, much later. But when those results finally arrive, people only see the outcome. They never see the silent years that created it. And that's why most people misunderstand success from the very beginning. Most people try to change their lives while staying inside the same destructive environment, the same distractions, the same habits, the same conversations, the same mindset. Then they wonder why nothing changes. But here's the truth. Your environment influences your behavior more than your intentions do, because human beings slowly adapt to whatever surrounds them constantly. If you spend enough time around negativity, your thinking changes. If you stay surrounded by distraction, your focus weakens. If you live inside environments without discipline, consistency becomes harder every day. And most people underestimate how deeply this affects their future. Now think about this carefully. How difficult is it to stay focused inside a world designed to distract you? How difficult is it to build discipline while constantly surrounded by comfort and instant gratification? How difficult is it to grow when everything around you pulls you backward? This is why successful people protect their environment carefully. They protect what enters their minds. They protect their routines. They protect their attention. Because eventually your surroundings begin shaping your standards. And your standards shape your life. Now pay attention to something important. Not every environment destroys you loudly. Some weaken you slowly, through distraction, through low expectations, through constant mental noise. Little by little your focus disappears. Your ambition becomes smaller. Your discipline becomes weaker. And eventually you stop believing you are capable of more. That's why changing your environment can completely change your future. Sometimes growth does not begin with learning something new. Sometimes it begins by removing what keeps draining your energy. The wrong habits, the wrong influences, the wrong routines, the wrong people. Because success grows faster in environments that support discipline, clarity, and consistency. And failure grows faster inside environments filled with distraction and emotional exhaustion. This is why protecting your mind matters so much. Everything around you is training you into becoming someone. The only question is whether that person is moving closer to success or further away from it. If this video is changing the way you think, subscribe to the channel. The next lessons may completely change the way you see discipline, focus, and personal growth. Because success is not only about what you do, it is also about what you allow around you every single day. One of the biggest advantages in modern life is no longer talent, it's focus. Because most people can no longer concentrate deeply on anything for very long. Their attention keeps getting pulled in every direction. Notifications, messages, videos, scrolling, constant stimulation. And over time, the brain becomes addicted to interruption. This creates a serious problem. Success requires depth, but modern habits train people for distraction. Now think about this honestly. How many people start something important, then quit after a few days? How many struggle to stay consistent because their attention constantly shifts? How many spend hours busy every day, but still make no real progress? This is what happens when focus disappears. Energy gets scattered, time gets wasted, potential stays unused. And the frightening part is that many people no longer realize how damaged their attention has become. Deep work now feels uncomfortable. Silence feels boring. Patience feels difficult. The brain keeps searching for quick stimulation instead of meaningful progress. But successful people understand something important. Every great result requires long periods of concentration. Businesses are built through focus. Skills are developed through focus. Discipline grows through focus. Without attention, nothing meaningful can grow consistently. This is why protecting your concentration has become one of the most valuable skills in the world today. Because wherever your attention goes, your future follows. Now pay attention to this carefully. Distraction does not always look dangerous. Sometimes it feels entertaining. Sometimes it feels harmless. Sometimes it even feels relaxing. But repeated distraction slowly destroys momentum. And momentum is extremely important for success. Once momentum disappears, progress becomes harder. Motivation weakens, consistency breaks, and eventually people begin doubting themselves. Not because they lack potential, but because their minds became overloaded and unfocused. This is why successful people learn how to control their attention intentionally. They understand that every distraction has a cost. Every interruption steals mental energy. Every wasted hour slowly affects long-term results. So remember this, a distracted mind struggles to build an exceptional life, but a focused mind becomes extremely powerful over time. And in a world full of distraction, the ability to stay focused already places you ahead of most people. Most people see discipline the wrong way. They treat it like punishment, like restriction, like something painful that removes freedom from life. But the truth is the exact opposite. Discipline creates freedom. Without discipline, emotions control decisions. Without discipline, distractions control time. Without discipline, temporary feelings destroy long-term goals. And this is exactly why so many people feel stuck. They wait to feel motivated before taking action. But motivation changes constantly. Some mornings you feel strong. Other days your energy disappears completely. If your actions depend only on emotions, consistency becomes impossible. Now think about this carefully. How many dreams were destroyed simply because someone stopped too early? How many opportunities disappeared because somebody could not stay consistent? How many lives stayed average because comfort became more important than growth? This is why discipline matters so much. It allows you to continue even when emotions become unstable. And successful people understand this deeply. They do not rely only on inspiration. They build systems, routines, standards, habits that continue working even during difficult days. Because real success is rarely created through one huge effort. It is usually built through small actions repeated consistently over long periods of time. And that is where discipline becomes powerful. Every repeated action shapes identity. Every habit trains the mind. Every consistent decision slowly changes the direction of your life. Now pay attention to something important. Discipline is not about perfection. Nobody performs perfectly every day. The goal is not perfection. The goal is direction, progress, consistency, the ability to keep moving forward without constantly restarting your life. This is why disciplined people eventually create massive advantages over time. While others stop and restart repeatedly, disciplined people continue building, slowly, quietly, consistently, and eventually those small actions create extraordinary results. So remember this: freedom is not doing whatever you feel like doing every moment. Real freedom comes from controlling yourself, controlling your habits, controlling your attention, controlling your decisions. Because when you learn to control yourself, you stop becoming controlled by distractions, impulses, and temporary emotions. And that changes everything. One of the saddest realities about success is this: many people stop too early, not because they lack intelligence, not because they lack potential, but because they misunderstand how progress actually works. At the beginning, results are usually invisible. You work hard and nothing seems different. You improve quietly and nobody notices. You stay disciplined and life still looks the same. That stage frustrates most people because modern culture trained everyone to expect instant results, instant success, instant money, instant transformation. But real growth often happens slowly at first, almost silently. And this is where patience becomes powerful. Now think about this carefully. A tree does not grow the moment you plant the seed. For a long time, nothing visible happens. But underneath the surface, roots are forming. Strength is developing. Foundations are being built. Success works the same way. The invisible stage matters more than most people realize. Because if the foundation stays weak, future success eventually collapses. This is why consistency matters so much during periods when nothing seems to change. Those moments are testing your ability to continue without external rewards. And very few people pass that test. Most quit during the invisible phase. They stop learning too early. They stop improving too early. They stop believing too early. Then later they watch somebody else succeed and assume it happened quickly. But they never saw the years of silent preparation behind the results. Now pay attention to this carefully. Life often changes slowly, then suddenly. For a long time, progress feels almost invisible. Then one opportunity appears, one breakthrough happens, one moment changes everything. But those moments usually come after long periods of consistency. And successful people understand this. They stop focusing only on immediate rewards. They focus on becoming stronger over time, smarter over time, more disciplined over time, because they know delayed results are still results. This is why persistence becomes so important. Not emotional excitement, not temporary motivation, persistence. The ability to continue while others stop. The ability to stay committed while others lose patience. The ability to keep building even when nobody notices yet. So remember this: many people are far closer to success than they realize. They just quit before their effort had time to grow into visible results. And sometimes the biggest difference between success and failure is simply who stayed consistent longer. Everything begins in the mind. Every decision, every habit, every action repeated daily. Before success appears externally, it develops internally first. This is why mindset matters so much, because people rarely rise above the level of their own thinking. If somebody constantly believes growth is impossible, they stop trying. If somebody constantly expects failure, fear begins controlling decisions. If somebody spends years feeding the mind negativity, doubt slowly becomes normal. And over time, thoughts begin shaping identity. Now think about this carefully. What do you repeatedly tell yourself every day? Do your thoughts build strength, or weakness? Do they create discipline or excuses? Do they move you forward or keep you emotionally stuck? Because the human mind adapts to repetition. Whatever you repeat internally eventually starts feeling true. This is why successful people protect their thinking carefully. They understand that mental patterns shape behavior, and behavior shapes results. Now pay attention to something important. A negative mindset does not always sound dramatic. Sometimes it sounds reasonable. I'll start later. I'm probably not capable enough. Maybe success is for other people. Those thoughts seem small, but repeated over years, they quietly destroy potential. Because the mind follows whatever story gets repeated most often. And eventually people begin living inside the limitations they constantly tell themselves. This is why self-awareness matters. You must notice the patterns controlling your thinking. You must recognize the beliefs weakening your discipline. You must identify the mental habits shaping your decisions every day. Because once the mind changes, behavior starts changing too. And once behavior changes consistently, life begins changing with it. This is also why successful people continue learning constantly. They feed the mind carefully. They choose information intentionally. They understand that thoughts influence energy, focus, confidence, and action. And action changes everything. If this video is helping you see success differently, subscribe to the channel. The next lessons will go even deeper into mindset, discipline, focus, and the hidden behaviors separating successful people from everyone else. Now remember this, your future is not shaped only by external opportunities. It is shaped by the thoughts you repeat daily. Because eventually, the mind becomes the blueprint for the life you build. There is one final truth that separates successful people from everyone else. They stop waiting. Most people spend years preparing emotionally for a future they never begin. They wait for confidence. They wait for certainty. They wait for perfect timing. But life rarely works that way. Clarity often comes after action, not before it. Confidence grows through repetition, not through overthinking. And opportunities usually appear while moving, not while waiting. Now think about this carefully. How many people stay trapped in the same place because fear keeps delaying their decisions? How many dreams disappear because somebody kept saying one day? How many lives remain average because comfort felt safer than growth? This is one of the biggest hidden laws of success. Action creates momentum. Momentum creates confidence. Confidence creates growth. But none of it begins until somebody decides to move, even imperfectly. Even while afraid, even while uncertain, because waiting forever destroys more potential than failure ever will. Now pay attention to something important. Successful people are not fearless. They simply stop allowing fear to control their direction. They understand that discomfort is part of growth, that uncertainty is part of progress, that every meaningful transformation requires stepping into situations that feel unfamiliar. And this changes everything, because once somebody stops waiting for perfect conditions, life begins moving differently. Progress accelerates, experience increases, discipline becomes stronger, opportunities become easier to recognize, not because the world changed overnight, but because action changed the person. This is why successful people build the habit of moving forward consistently. Small actions, repeated daily, without waiting for perfect emotions, without needing constant motivation, without depending on ideal circumstances. And over time, those small actions completely transform their lives. So remember this. Success is not reserved for the most talented people. It often belongs to the people who kept moving, while others stayed frozen by fear, doubt, and hesitation. The people who continued learning, continued building, continued improving, even when progress felt slow. And if you made it this far, subscribe to the channel. Because very few people are willing to think deeply about success, discipline, mindset, and personal growth anymore. But the ones who do often change their lives completely over time. Now remember this one last time. Your future does not change the moment you feel ready. It changes the moment you decide to begin. Success is not one single moment. It is not luck. It is not instant transformation. Success is built slowly through decisions repeated every day, through discipline when motivation disappears, through focus inside a distracted world, through consistency during seasons when results still feel invisible, and most importantly, through the ability to continue while others stop. Because every successful life is built from small actions repeated long enough. The habits you create, the thoughts you repeat, the environment you allow around you, the way you use your attention, all of these things quietly shape your future over time. Now think about this carefully. 5 years from now, your life will reflect what you consistently practiced, tolerated, repeated, and prioritized. That is why these laws matter. Not because success happens overnight, but because daily choices slowly become destiny. So stop waiting for perfect conditions. Stop waiting to feel fully confident. Start building now. Protect your focus. Strengthen your discipline. Control your environment. Train your mind. And keep moving forward even when progress feels slow. Because one day, the results that once seemed impossible will become visible. And when that moment arrives, most people will only see the outcome. They will never see the silent years that created it. If this video helped you see success differently, subscribe to the channel. There's much more ahead about discipline, mindset, focus, growth, and the habits that quietly shape extraordinary lives.